Hello, 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 beautiful people. And welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Erica Nicole. And if it is your first time here, welcome. And make sure you click the subscribe button. Click the bell so you're notified when I post another video. And let's get started. Okay, so as you know from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about 5 signs or 5 reasons, 5 things to look out for in a relationship. This is the part 1 to a 2-part series. So today is just going to be 5 reasons, and then I will have a part 2 with another 5 reasons. So just a little bit of backstory and the reasoning why I am doing this video is because, as you all know, or even if you don't know, I was in a relationship or I was in a marriage. I'm not going to go into detail about that particular relationship. I am just giving these reasons or these signs based off of my personal experience. Okay, so let's get real. We all want to experience an unconditional love. We all want that relationship that's perfect for us, where it's give and take and where everything is equal and where you can communicate with that person without any issues. And of course, we all want to be appreciated and we want to be loved and we want to be the only one, yet still we end up in relationships that we shouldn't be in, or relationships that are no good for us. We all have done it in some way, shape, or form at some point in life. This is why I am here to give you these signs, because obviously we're also doing it. So I'm gonna give my perspective on these with these signs, and I hope, like I said, I hope it's helpful for someone that is watching. It may resonate with you as far as the signs that I'm talking about or explaining. So sign number 1 would be dishonesty. So let me elaborate on that. Of course, in every relationship, you need to be able to be honest with that person if you want that relationship to work. There's no way a relationship is going to work on dishonesty. Now, it may seem like a small, it's just one word. It may seem so small, but honesty is so important. And if you have someone who is dishonest with you early on in a relationship, where you've come to a point where you have to second guess what they're telling you, that's a sign to look out for. There's no reason for someone to be for people to be dishonest early on in a relationship, because that's kind of like the foundation of a relationship, is to be honest. So if you are with someone who is being dishonest, even if it's just for small things or small lies that there's no reason to lie about, it's only going to get worse with bigger lies about bigger things. So dishonesty is definitely one of those things that you need to look out in a relationship. If you feel like your significant other or the person that you're talking to is being dishonest, that's a perfect sign for you to get out of that relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you can't address the dishonesty. You can. It's just, if you feel like they continue to be dishonest past one point, because it's okay to make a mistake once. If they continue to keep doing it, then that's not really a mistake, that's just a pattern. So that's something to look out for. So that's number 1, dishonesty. Now, with all these, they're not in any specific order as far as importance or whatever. These are just 5 signs to look out for. So I'm not going in like a specific order. So number 2 would be you start ignoring your own feelings and ignoring your intuition. Now, when I say intuition, as human beings, we have an intuition. Whether that's, God telling us something and we don't necessarily listen to it, but we have a feeling. Intuition is usually right. So if you have a feeling that you're being lied to, or that there's something that's being hidden, there's some missing pieces to a story, you're probably right. From my experience, into my intuition, when I look back on it, never lied. And I wish I would have paid attention to those things, because things would have either gone differently for me or ended differently, or whatever the case may be. The story would have changed in some way, whether I didn't have to go through certain things. So intuition, like I said, you're ignoring how that person's behavior is making you feel, and you're more so just like, well, let me just let it go because I don't want to lose them, or I don't want to start an argument, and just putting your feelings on the back burner. That's another thing that you got to look out for. Yes, it's important to keep your significant other's feelings in mind. Not saying that that's not part of what your relationship should have, but you shouldn't be pushing your feelings aside all the time just to make them feel better, or make them feel like you're just nitpicking at everything that they do, like you're judging them. If you're doing things to avoid them feeling that way, then you need to really take a look at your relationship and see how you want to continue in that relationship, because that's not something that you should have to deal with either. That's not fair. And that's, like I said, all of these things are just going to get worse at a certain point if you choose to ignore them early on. Number 3 is patterns of disrespect. Disrespect could be anything that makes you feel like your feelings don't matter to that person. Anything that you would constitute as disrespect. That could simply be deciding not to call you or let you know where they are, or answering text messages or ignoring phone calls. Disrespect in any small or big, large level. There should not be any disrespect. Now, I know sometimes there can be things where maybe you get an argument or you have a disagreement where it could feel as though you have been disrespected, and that can happen. But you need to address the issue or address the disrespect. You need to explain why you feel disrespected, and they need to understand and acknowledge how they disrespected you. And if you have done that to 1 or 2 times already, and you're still being disrespected in the same way or disrespected in other ways, then that is not a relationship you want to be in either. So that's another sign, disrespect. So like I said, disrespect can be anything. Anything that makes you feel like your feelings or your emotions don't matter to that other person. Like they just didn't think about you at all in their behavior. Number 4 is lack of support. So I feel like in a relationship, there should be give and take of love, encouragement, building up each other with words. So if you don't feel supported in your relationship, whether you have, an idea that you want to do, work venture, or a job that you want to go for, or something that you want to try to do that's new for you, and if you don't get the support from your significant other as far as, going for that dream or that idea or whatever, if you don't feel supported in things like that, that you're going to your spouse to communicate and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Like, what do you think? If you don't feel supported after going to your significant other about those things, that's another thing you need to look out for. Everything that happens in the beginning of a relationship is either, if it's something that's negative, then it is more than likely going to get worse rather than get better. Now, like I said, not everything, but things can be, fixed or changed based off communication with the person. As far as, letting them know what it is that you feel uncomfortable about, what you feel was disrespectful, what you feel was not loving or building you up. of course, that is, you know, still part of the relationship. You still need to be able to, you know, you can work things out as long as that other person is willing to work with you and work those things out as well. Like I said, if things are happening 2 or 3 times of the same type of situation, it's not going to change. That's a behavior and it's a pattern rather than just a mistake. So that's number 4, lack of support. So if you don't feel supported by your spouse, significant other, now, when I say spouse, that's also very touchy because you're married, but still, that doesn't mean, I still say try to fix whatever you think can be fixed, whether you're in a marriage or a long-term relationship, whatever it is. But obviously the marital conversation is a whole other thing. This is just general 5 signs. Now, if you feel like if you are in marriage and this does pertain to you, then I mean, like I said, try to talk to your spouse about it. Try to come to a communication where you can fix the problem if those things are fixable. As long as you guys are on the same page, willing to work on it together. So that was number 4. Number 5 is hoping for change. Now, I guess just to tie all these together today, for this video, hoping for change. Now, a lot of the time in relationships, we like to see the best in people, to where we overlook the negative part of the person or their negative behaviors. So we decide to look at the potential in the person. And it's okay to, you know, see potential in people, but it's not okay to decide to ignore all of the bad or negative things and just think, well, they have the potential to be better than this, and I know they're a good person, so, you know, they don't mean to hurt me. Or when you're deciding to make excuses for the negative behavior, that is another for sure sign that that is not a relationship that you should be in. You should not be ignoring bad, negative things or behaviors that are done towards you in your relationship just because you think the person's gonna change. Because if a person wants to change, they'll do it. You know, they'll do it without you having to ask, without you having to explain to them why they need to change. So that's a big one. A lot of people, and I am guilty of that behavior myself, believing and hoping for change and hoping that changing the way that I do certain things is going to change them. And that's not always the case. That's not usually how it goes. So, like I said, these are just 5 signs to look out for. I'm not telling you to, you know, go end your relationship right now, unless you get like all these signs and it's worse than what I'm explaining to you, then by all means I say, you know, walk away and put yourself first. But also at the end of the day, maybe these are things that you're not paying attention to, and maybe they need to be addressed in order to make your relationship stronger and fix it, or they need to be addressed within yourself for you to walk away. So like I said, I'm not saying go break up with whoever you're in a relationship with. I'm just saying, look at these 5 signs. Think about what you want your relationship to continue to be. And, you know, hopefully it was helpful in the sense that someone's getting out of a relationship they really should not be in. It's not fun to be in a toxic or unhealthy relationship. It's just not. And like I said, it doesn't always end well. It usually does not end well at all. So it's always better to walk away with, you know, knowing you did the right thing rather than sticking around to find out what happens and it doesn't end well. So, like I said, this is a 2-part series that I'm going to do. So I am going to do a part 2 with 5 other reasons. So in total, it'll be 10 reasons or 10 signs. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, leave me some comments. Any comments you want to give me would be helpful, that would be great. And then stay tuned for my part 2. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.